Lot 42, the Claude Monet Nafias of 1908. £3 million is bid for this lot, 3 million. I have a bid of £3 million. 3,200,000, 3,500,000, 3,800,000, 4 million. At £4 million now, at £4 million, 4,200,000, 4,400,000, 4,500,000, 4,600,000, 4,800,000.
The paintings of this period are among the most familiar images in art. The greatness of the artists is a commonplace of Western culture.
It's yours.
But the Impressionists started out as radicals. When it was first exhibited, their art was rejected as disturbing, inept, incomprehensible, even immoral. Why were people so hostile? What was the accepted art of the period?
In mid-19th century France, as so often in the story of the art of the West, art was a serious business loaded with political significance. It was used by the rulers not only to embody their ideals of beauty, but to enshrine the values which in their eyes underpinned a civilized and stable society. And art which didn't do that could be the object of contempt, of fear, and even of repression. There could hardly be a better example of what the official establishment art of the time looked like than this building, the Paris Opera House. It was constructed at vast cost. 10 lives were lost in building it, 500 houses destroyed to make way for it, all to celebrate the values of French bourgeois metropolitan culture and the stability and continuity of its political life.
In fact, this stability had been undermined by the Franco-Prussian War and the Siege of Paris in 1870. Then, in the following year, 1871, the people of Paris seized control of the city. But the Commune was overthrown with terrible brutality. Thousands of people were executed, and the center of the city was left partially wrecked.
The opera was begun before the Franco-Prussian War, but only completed and opened after the crushing of the Commune. But while the finishing touches were being applied here, just across the city, an artist lay in prison. Gustave Courbet had been a member of the Paris Commune. He'd been accused of helping to destroy the Vendôme column, a symbol of French imperialism.
Courbet came from the country. He came from the Jura near the Swiss border, and he saw himself as a wild man from the backwoods. He was a notorious rebel against establishment values in art. The Parisian art world was dominated by the Salon, a vast state-sponsored exhibition. Here, large-scale religious or historical subjects were preferred, showing dramatic deeds or moralizing themes like Couture's Romans of the Decadence. Highly popular, too, were images of beautiful women presented in settings remote in time or place, in classical antiquity or in imaginary Orient. There were also trivial anecdotal pictures of everyday life. Courbet called his art realist. Rejecting the idealized vision and false rhetoric of academic art, he painted the mourners attending a funeral in his own small town. Courbet said, "It was not my intention to attain the trivial goal of art for art's sake. No, My aim is to translate the customs, the ideas, and the appearance of my own epoch as I see them.
We're not told who's being buried, but it's clearly no one of national significance. But Courbet called his vast picture a history of a burial at Ornans. And by its size and by its title, he was claiming that the everyday customs of his own provincial society were just as worthy subjects of serious historical art as any other. Modern landscape and modern people were now the raw material for a serious form of painting. Courbet intended his picture to be seen at the Paris Salon, and it was clearly meant to shock, particularly in the political circumstances of 1850 when it was exhibited. In the elections of May 1849, about a third of the votes in the countryside had been polled for radical Republican candidates who opposed the presidency of Louis Napoleon. And to the urban bourgeoisie, these rural Republicans seemed a threat to the whole social order. Courbet was born here in Ornans, the son of a prosperous farmer, a member of the class which the Parisians had found so puzzling when they saw it depicted in the burial. Courbet presented himself as a man of the country, a sort of natural being with untamed appetites. Courbet was also an anarchist, a follower of Pierre-Joseph Proudhon, who wanted to do away with central government and create a classless society of free individuals.